Hi, it's me, Rebecca, and tonight it's a solo pair night. Um, I had an early bedtime. It's been a long week, and yeah, bedtime needed to happen. Um, so, it is Friday, which is lovely. Um, and I am so ready for the weekend. We don't really have any plans, but maybe sleep. Sleep is probably definitely one of them. And it's Memorial Day weekend, so probably lots of the one of you. Who knows? Maybe you're going to the beach. Um, I did laugh because one of my foster kids is going to the beach, and somebody commented, "Oh, they're going down for Black Bike Week." And I don't think this family is specifically going for Black Bike Week, but um, one of my coworkers was just kind of, I guess, surprised by the idea of there being a Black Bike Week, and I just thought that was kind of funny. We actually used to have a group of Black bikers who was very generous in doing some, they call them poker runs or whatever, and they would do gifts for all the kids when I worked at Nazareth, and you know, birthdays once a quarter, and then Christmas every year, and it was huge, and they were wonderful. So kudos to Black Bikers, and I hope you're having a good weekend. I also, of note, is I think I've kind of told you that probably over the next couple of years, Ty and I will be perhaps looking for a change in environment. We are in a rural area now, and we are in this area pretty much because his mother lives here. And right now we are helping just with, you know, the general basics. She's getting a little up there in age. So we'll see what the next couple of years, you know, where it takes us. With that said, I started my application for grad school today. And I haven't even talked to Ty about it. I thought I would tonight while we were eating a pear, but early bedtime means he's missing out. And I am, not that I haven't talked to him at all about it, but to actually bite the bullet and start doing it is significant. I was a librarian for a couple of years and really loved it, and kind of had a parting of ways because I am maybe a little bit more left-leaning than my very rural community that's very conservative up here, and I would like to be a librarian again. And in a rural area, there's often not many people with their masters, and so I was able to get the job without that need before. But if we move to a larger area, then a little more competition. So I think I was a good librarian, and I especially liked the programming piece of it. And we did all kinds of fun projects, a Pringles Ringle. We built a Rube Goldberg machine. We did their normal story time. You know, we built an igloo out of milk cartons. all the fun things. I learned to paint. So I could teach painting classes, which is kind of a hoot to me because, you know, it probably was very much blind leading the blind, but I got pretty decent, you know. And as I said, he's asleep. Here he comes. He can't stand being left out. I'm eating up here without you.
Caught you.
Busted, huh?
You're in here pairing without me.
Yes, and I just was sharing with maybe you a day later. I don't know how this works since you're my only viewer. That I started my grad school application today.
Oh, did you really?
I did.
Cool. For the librarian thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to say where at?
I'm looking at App State.
Okay. Well, cool.
Yeah. I have an online program, so I can continue to work, which is a need.
Do that.
And I can do that kind of part-time.
Okay. Cool. And I know your schedule at work is kind of crazy sometimes.
Yeah. So the online makes
a lot more sense.
A lot more sense than just a part-time thing.
And I guess if you were overly busy, I could take one of your tests for you.
Can you put these letters in ABC order? Teasing, there's lots more to being a librarian, but knowing your ABCs is important for shelving. I did think it was kind of funny though, because when I worked at the library, there was one lady I went to go help shelve one day, and she was all like, "Oh, you shelve?" And I was like, "Yeah, why would I not?" And she's like, "Oh, the last youth services librarian said, when you get that master's, you don't shelve." And I was like, "Oh." So I'll still shelve once I get my master's.
Okay. Well, future people, I'm going to go back to my nap. I love you.
Love you too.
Oh, man. My back is hurting.
Does that mean you're moving to the recliner for your nap?
I might for a while.
Okay, love you. See, he's up. He's about. I had encouraged the taking it easy since it was last weekend that we were in the emergency room and in the hospital for the weekend. And quite frankly, I'm hoping for a much quieter weekend. With that said, May is also Foster Parent Appreciation Month. I am always in need of foster parents, and especially foster parents who are willing to take kids who have a trauma history and have a recognition that trauma is hard for kids, and trauma looks a lot of different ways. Sometimes it looks like ADHD, and I do mean this literally. It can look like that. And years ago, I worked with a kid whose mother was bipolar, and she would be very up and manic and win money playing bingo or, and kind of some minor gambling kind of stuff. And she would come home and be so excited and let's go buy new shoes and all the things and very up. And then she would be in a depressed state and would become physically abusive. I mean, beat the kid with like extension cords kind of down. And this is not at all to say that most bipolar people are not abusers. But because he never knew kind of what to expect from her, and she was an abuser, again, most bipolar people, that's not indicative of bipolar disorder at all. It was something that made her abuse maybe worse because he did not know what to expect. And so he looked like a very ADHD kid. And they tried him on ADHD meds and really quickly said, this kid is not responding to that. And then they tried him on anxiety medication, and that helped him immensely because it wasn't truly ADHD. It was, I don't know how the adults that I should trust in my life are going to behave on any given day. And so I am scanning for cues and trying to figure out so that I can keep myself safe. And trauma also looks like kids who self-sabotage sometimes, kids who are risk takers. It's a lot of different things, and very often kids need grace. We were talking about that a little bit the other night of just, hey, if somebody's got a tough day at work, coming home, the first thing you want to do is not sit down and pay your bills. It's, I want to veg for a little bit. I need to maybe process with a friend or talk through my day or whatever. Maybe it's having a pair. And yet we kind of sometimes hold our kids to these standards of like, hey, you're really upset and you need to calm down. So I'm going to isolate you from everything and put you in this timeout. And not that there's not a lot of room for timeout, but also, what's the harm in saying, go play with your Legos for 10 minutes and then let's talk about this situation? And, or, why don't you call this other trusted adult? Or, you know, any number of other things that I, as an adult, when I am really frustrated and need to deal with a situation, would want to do. And a lot of times we don't give our kids that same grace, and we expect more from them than we do from ourselves. So just food for thought. I will say, on an accountability kind of level, I've not worked out all week. I have not wanted to push Ty, and I've also kind of worked a lot of later hours this week. It's the end of the school year, and sometimes trying to get through those EOGs and stuff when we have kids come into custody and there are not enough local foster homes means a lot of driving back and forth and doing some extra pickups and drop-offs and things like that, in addition to kind of that normal every week visits here and there kind of thing. So sometimes a lot of moving parts. And if you're a teacher, don't wait until the last week of school to make that CPS report. I'm not sure why that's a thing, but I feel like Christmas and May are these two seasons that we end up getting all kinds of the CPS reports. It's like somebody somewhere realizes, hey, these kids are going to be at home with these parents I've been concerned about all school year. Let me call now. So May tends to be chaotic, and then the summer sometimes slows down, or all the cases that have started being investigated in May, we get kids into care in June and July. So it just kind of rolls. But exercise needs to be in my priority list. I also had a low last night in my overnight blood sugar that I don't normally get many lows that are that low. But this was like 55, set off my alarm. As soon as I woke up, of course, my blood sugar shoots up 50 points at least. I don't even need to eat anything or whatever sweet. It just waking up. That's great. But what my doctor has told me before is when you're having too many lows overnight, you're not eating enough protein before bed. And so you get low, and because don't have that protein to sustain you, and then your body gets low and thinks it's going to die. So then it starts giving you all kinds of sugar in your blood, and you got the high blood sugar again. And so, so I'm having cheese with my pear tonight, which I will say pairs nicely. A nice sharp cheddar. And if I can get through this weekend, with it being a quiet work weekend and not having to actually work, then that's on my to-do list. Adding more exercise. And I also have to wash the car seat that a kid barfed in my car. That's also on my to-do list this week. And I should have Ty here. It works better with both of us, doesn't it? Anyways, I think I mostly was excited about the idea of telling somebody about grad school. And I won't keep you guys because we do work better when there's two of us instead of just me. Maybe I shouldn't tell him that, though. He'll get a big head. Okay. I'll let that be all for tonight. Have a nice rest of your holiday weekend, Pear family.